like I am, very grateful for who I am at this moment in time, shall we say. And I'm very, very respectful of it and grateful for it and thankful for it. And at times amazed that I'm still here, having died once 20 years ago. And my wife saved my life, and that was what happened. And I went through it. And then, 3 months later, I got myself back together again. And was told that the band Yes are going to carry on with another singer. And I thought, yeah, I can actually do my solo show now. And that's what I did. Me and Jane went on tour of the world with me and a guitar, which is behind me here. And I'd sing songs and tell stories on stage. What a release from what people might say. And you got fired from Yes? I said, yeah, but hey, look what I'm doing now,
Well, it's interesting, John. I was curious about you as a creative. You must have a certain, going back to the theme of freedom, you must experience a lot of creative liberty when you're not playing with Yes, and even in collaborating with other artists, like, Friends of Mr. Cairo, to me, that's probably something that doesn't come up every day. But the work you did with Vangelis is just incredible, and you must feel like when you're not, although that happened with you, I remember in 2008, you almost died, and then all of this happened in the background. But, whenever you're playing with another artist, another part of John blooms, it blossoms, and it gives more to the universe and more to your fan base. Do you feel like those connections and collaborations have helped you grow creatively, spiritually, and individually?
Yeah. For sure. When I met Jean-Luc Ponty, who I'd admired from afar, I bumped into somebody who knew him, who had his phone number. He lived in Paris, and we got together, and all of a sudden, he was my brother. I hadn't seen him forever, ever. And we performed and made an album, went on tour for a year, and it was pure magic on every level. And you just same with the Band Geeks. When I did 1,000 Hands, it was like out of the blue, the producer, Michael Franklin, who had heard some of the songs from the Mountain recordings that we'd done up in Big Bear, said, just called me up and said, do you want to finish the album? And I said, which album? And he said, well, I don't know what it was called. I think it was called... It was actually called something you talk about when you're in the north of England. Us lot, meaning a lot of us. Us lot. It was going to be called Us Lot. And I said, yeah, I think the tapes are in the garage. So he said, can you get them out and send them to me? I live in Florida. And I said, yeah, I can send them to you. And he actually put them in an oven, baked them, because you could ruin them if you don't bake the tapes, 24 tracks.
Wow.
And he played them and sent them to me, and they sounded so good. I said, wow, it's going to be an album. And it's an album that I started 20 years earlier. And when Thousand Hands came out, I was so proud of the fact that it sounded so perfect. And so many great musicians performed on it. I said, nothing can go wrong with this. And of course, everything went wrong. It's a brilliant album, but it never sold because the record company didn't know how to sell it or something. And then we went on tour together, which was extremely chaotic.
Why? How so? Why was it chaotic?
Well, because it was very unorderly managed by different people who I thought knew what they were doing. And but the main thing was that we had a great time on stage, and that was the important thing, that we performed well. We all got on very well as a group of musicians. And but generally speaking, the album did not open up the doors on every level that you thought it was going to do. You always make something and think, oh, this will change my life. And it did change my life, but not for the better. But it just made everything go over here. Whereas here we are with the new album. You get a feeling about this new album because it's got yesism. sort of vibe about it. So I'm very excited, of course.
It does. It does. John, I think or let me ask you, do you think you're blessed as a creator in that you have the ability at this point in your career to continue to be inspired and create superior music, whereas a lot of your contemporaries haven't been able to create this beautiful music for their entire career? You have like a very special skill set. And I feel like it's a blessing that you've been able to carry this through for your entire career so far. Do you see what I'm talking about? Like some people just can't keep on bringing out the inspiration, and you do.
Maybe it's because I don't care that much.
Maybe.
Eventually, I don't care as long as people hear it and they get a chance to hear it, then they'll understand what I'm thinking and understand what I'm doing. If it's a hit, whee! I've had two hits in the whole, Owner of a Lonely Heart and Roundabout. So making hit records, I forgot about that years and years ago. I just thought about making music that sounds pretty good or pretty interesting. And then lyrically, or like when I did Zamran, the idea of doing Zamran was coming from Elias of Sun Hillow, which I did by myself. And Zamran started the day I was told, you can't go out, there's this terrible illness called COVID. And I thought, I'm sure I'm supposed to be doing something. And my son said, how about Son of Elias album? And I thought, Zamran. I don't know where that came from, but I wrote that down. And I started writing a lot of music about Zamran. And it's still not finished. It sounds pretty crazy. It's a bit crazy to say that, but I'm still working. It's 4 hours long at the moment.
That's great.
What to do with that,
Bring it. It's the 2025 Tales.
Oh, right? My God. Woo.